Hello, hello, hello there, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. Well, it is the third Sunday here in July. Could you believe it? And things are just moving along. The garden is growing and expanding, and we have just been enjoying this time. And it's supposed to rain today later on, so the garden is going to get what it needs. It's going to get a beautiful drenching of rainwater from Mother Nature. That's so fantastic. I don't know if you could hear the lawnmower, but my neighbors are mowing their lawn, so excuse that. But I have to tell you that I am pleased with the garden and all of this color that I find in my garden. It's just looking really, really beautiful. So I'm going to walk around and share with you my garden, Catherine's Garden and Home, for this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday here, the 20th of July, 2025. Come and walk with me. This third Saturday in July, the garden is looking very nice, especially this upper garden where the roses are. My Pinkabell rose has now opened up some new buds. It's looking so full and lush. And also the other rose over there, my mother of pearl rose. This is just filling out the bed nicely with the bee balm and also the hydrangeas. It's looking kind of patriotic, if I say so myself. The kitchen garden, herb garden, vegetable garden is looking really good also. The tomatoes are growing and filling up with tomatoes, early girl and early boy tomatoes, along with my golden tomatoes. I actually harvested a couple yesterday, which was Saturday. You know what? I'm really happy to see that my pumpkins are flowering. Hopefully I will have some pumpkins this year. I know they're going to take off and take over, but there's room for them to travel. I was happy to see with my corn that I have some corn developing, and so I will be eating some corn from my garden as well. The eggplants, they're growing and flowering as well. Things are looking good here. Good morning, and welcome to Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. Well, it is July, and the garden has been going through its changes. The weather has been hot. However, we've had periods of rain, which has helped things out. But this week was a little bit more dry than normal, so we had to water the garden ourselves, and we tried to keep up with that. But I have to say, this Sunday morning, the garden is looking beautiful. The beds are full and lush. The red from the impatiens is popping. And because it's a little cloudy out this morning, everything is looking vibrant and very much alive. So I'm so pleased with this garden. So come with me for a quick walkabout and let's see what is happening this early Sunday morning here in my garden, Catherine's Garden and Home. These beds are looking fantastic. And you remember the rhododendron earlier in the year? They were very much looking like if they were going to die out. They went through a very rough winter, but now they have recovered. You can see the rhododendrons are full and lush, and I believe that they're going to make it through the winter when it does come, that they will be strong because they've had such tremendous growth. And we also can see here too that the garden mums that were here last year are really full, and we will have some beautiful flowers in the fall. Bunny is doing well too. And my calla lilies, the leaves are healthy, looking really good here in this bed. And it appears as if we're going to get another beautiful flower. I am very pleased with this bed underneath the giant oak tree. Bed is looking great as well. And what is happening new here in this bed is the fact that the zinnias are starting to pop. And these are a little lime, Queen Little Lime, I think that's the name of it, from Baker Creek. And also we are seeing that the purple perilla plant is giving a good contrast here with the grasses, the variegated grass and the impatiens. I also have New Guinea's impatiens here as well, the white ones and some red ones there as well, and it's filling out nicely. Now let's take a closer look at some of these zinnias. Now, isn't that beautiful? And I do have red zinnias here. I guess they will open up later on. But right now, these lime, queen lime zinnias are opening up here in this bed. And just taking their place. The zinnias are coming in and taking their place here in July. In this bed, the lilies are pretty much finished, my Casablanca lilies. But now we have other plants, other perennials and annuals that have self-seeded themselves, but also that are part of this July movement here in my garden. They are coming up and they're looking great. For example, the alliums here, drumstick alliums, are popping through. And I did plant a kale here, a curly kale in the mix. So it's a beautiful blend of different colors and textures here in this bed. I love the fact that the hostas are providing this nice purple color or lavender color here in the bed, right in the center, and they're looking really good with the bee balm. We also have purple perella here, which is giving a good solid look here, adding contrast to the greens and making this garden look really rich. I love this bed. We have a volunteer here with the 4 o'clocks, and then also we have this plant here, which is the Cleome plant, which self-sated itself here. And we have marigolds and other plants here. Now this is Sunday morning here in Boston, and we're not too far from Logan Airport, so you might be hearing the planes, the Sunday morning, people leaving the city, going to different places. And the birds seem to be very excited too. I really like how this hosta is looking good. The flower of it is just dainty enough, and it's looking really well here with the arborvitae, the bishopweed, and just a simple, nice look here in the garden as you turn the corner to go into the back of the garden. From this vantage point, you get to see the fullness of this garden, and you get to see the other beds underneath the maple tree. I love it. And then you get to see the backside of this bed that I just showed you earlier. I planted a lot of zinnias there. I also planted some of the collard green plants just to add life and fullness now that the lilies, the Casablanca lilies, have finished, or just about finished. I think today's probably the last. I do love this hydrangea here at the side of the deck, and my Cornelia rose, which is flowering off and on. I love the color. With the arborvitae, the geraniums are getting torched by the sun a bit, but still looking good. And then here is the other hydrangea. The roses are starting to open up again. We're getting some blooms here from my curly pink rose. Now I need to actually spend some time in this bed and thin it out so that it'll go into the fall rich and full. The hostas are doing well. The yellow flowers, I planted that Um, Last year I put it in the garden, and this year it's so big and beautiful. And it complements the lilies here as well as the bee balm. Now these lilies are just about finished, but yet there's still some more to bloom, but soon it will be over. This yellow plant was a pass-along plant given to me by a gardening friend at the community gardens. I saw it, I loved it, and asked her for a piece of it. And she gave it to me. And I've been able to put it here in my garden. It's a spreader. It spreads really fast. And it can take over this bed if it wants to. But you know, that's where we come in, where we're able to edit the garden. And then, of course, I have the bee balm here. You know what? I really haven't seen a lot of hummingbirds, because usually the hummingbirds love the bee balm, but hopefully they will find this garden and we'll soon see hummingbirds drinking from the nectar of the bee balm. I wanted to show you this concerning my fig tree, that I can actually see figs developing. Oops. Do you see that? Ooh. There we go. They're small, but they are forming. So that means that we will have figs later on. But I do love the leaves of the fig tree. And I'm excited to see that it is being fruitful. Mm-hmm. My tomatoes, finally, the tomatoes are fruiting. Look at that. This is Early Boy, and I believe the upper ones here is called Early Girl. Yeah. And then I have the marigolds growing here at the bottom. Here I have the sun golden tomatoes that are growing really well here. And they have quite a few branches here. It's like trailing up. Do you see that? Yes, they're getting busy. Yeah, so we will be having tomatoes for sure this year in my garden. The plums are getting larger on this plum tree, and it's definitely weighing it down. I'm going to have to trim it eventually. Maybe next year. Cut it back so that it's not so weighted. But I think maybe next year it will probably rest, because it's truly produced a lot of plums. And I'm just letting it do its thing. Now this garden needs a revamping, but you know, it's still good. Still good. And I have my peppers growing pretty big here in the pot. I'm excited about that. It's something different. The corn is standing up now. There was a windy day that caused the corn to fall over, and I was very concerned about it, but it seems like they have found their way and they're standing up. There's a few that are kind of leaning over, but that's okay. Here in the front garden, the pumpkins and squash are doing their thing. They're starting to trail, and they more than likely will trail up into the shrubs and take over there, which I don't mind because the shrubs act like a trellis for the different squash and pumpkins. And then we can see too that the bee balm is here, and it's starting to fade, but new blossoms are developing. The bees love it. They don't care. They're just happy to be here, and they're happy to get the nectar from the bee balm. There are other things that are starting to flower. My yellow flowers over there, and of course my beautiful hydrangea is still holding up even though there's a lot of heat. But I am happy here to show you the bee. Look at the bumblebee. Just loving it here. I'm amazed to see how the garden is just growing and changing, and in all of the different sections, different things are coming up and showing up here in the garden. Some things I've planted and some things that I have not. But I am glad that I'm able to share this with you on this beautiful July day. It's overcast, it's going to rain, but it is just nice to be in the garden, especially after having those very hot temperature days in the 90s and so forth. So thank you so much for joining me here at Catherine's Garden and Home, where we grow, 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 grow together. Have a wonderful week. Bye.